Namaste. Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, so says Upanishad. Lead me from darkness to light. That's the meaning of that famous Upanishadic saying. This is exactly what you eye care professionals and the healthcare professionals have been doing as a great service to the society. Millions of people have been suffering from lack of vision or defective vision over many years in their own respective lives, and thanks to all of you, they are getting a very new vision. A new world brightens up for them and a new experience awaits them thanks to your service. So, today in my talk in the context of World Sight Day, let me start my talk with a tribute to all the eye care professionals and the healthcare professionals. Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, it also means something more. It means lead me from ignorance to wisdom, from ignorance to knowledge, ignorance to wisdom, lead me. That is also the deeper meaning of this Upanishadic mantra. Our scriptures, they are full of wisdom, they are full of knowledge, and more than knowledge, they are full of wisdom. Nuggets of wisdom are thrown all over our Hindu scriptures, covering, in fact, spanning all aspects of life. So, health also, healthcare, health is also very much part of the scriptural wisdom that is awaiting us, that is waiting for us to tap. Health is very important to a human being. This is what the scriptures keep highlighting. It's a general misconception. It's a general misconception to think that the scriptures are mainly religious and they keep talking about esoteric, philosophic concepts and principles only. Yes, they do. They do talk about esoteric concepts, philosophical principles, spiritual principles, religious matters, etc. Yes, but in addition, they also give lot of importance to the physical body, physical good well-being of the health of the human being. Why? The scriptures are highlighting that the body is a very important tool for the human being for achieving his goal. First of all, I think we have to remember that every human being has a goal to achieve. In fact, has multiple goals to achieve. Goals in the form of a ladder. They can start from material goals to mid-term goals and to spiritual goals, all kinds of goals. But if the body doesn't cooperate, the human being will be highly handicapped, severely handicapped. In fact, the Kathopanishad, one of the Upanishads in our Hindu scriptures, it says, Atmanam Ratinam Viddhi Shariram Ratamevacha. You are like the traveler in a chariot, and your body is the chariot. And your sense organs, they are the horses which are pulling the chariot. And the Upanishad says, if you control your sense organs correctly, your body, the chariot, will lead you, your sense organs and your body will lead you, the traveler, to your goal, to your destination. So, take care of your body, take care of your body, take care of your mind. In short, take care of your health. This is what is the wisdom from the scriptures for us in the context of health and health care. We know in Ramayana, as 12-year-old boys, Rama and Lakshmana, they walked thousands of kilometers all the way from Ayodhya in modern Uttar Pradesh to Mithila in current day Nepal, following Vishwamitra. Not only that, we know that Rama and Lakshmana 13 years later, when they were of the age of 25, and Sita Devi, at that time her age was 18 years old, young girl, the three of them walked all the way from Uttar Pradesh, today's Uttar Pradesh, Sringiberapuram near Ayodhya. From there, they walked all the way to Allahabad, Triveni Sangamam, and then from there they walked all the way to Chitrakuta, and from Chitrakuta they walked all through the Dandakaranya forest and they set up camp in Panchavati near Nashik. No transportation, nothing. They didn't use any chariots. They walked thousands of kilometers. In fact, I have even followed the same trail and I know the distances. But today, with the modern comforts, I travelled it in a coach. But Rama, Lakshmana and Sita, how did they do it? How did they walk? How did they have that physical stamina? And how did they have that fortitude to go through all this? And they were walking through dense forest. They were not children of hard-working families, laborer families, mountain trekker families, farmers. They were used to all the luxuries in the world. They were, Rama and Lakshmana were the sons of an emperor. Sita Devi was a daughter, princess, daughter of a king, but they were able to do it. Arjuna, when he fought the Mahabharata battle, he was the hero of the battle. All of us know from the epic Mahabharata. Do you imagine him to be a virile 25-year-old, 30-year-old young warrior blazing great heights in the Mahabharata war? Actually, he was near 60. He was probably 60 or 60 plus of age. But look at the great deeds of Arjuna in the war. Why Arjuna? Look at Bhishmacharya. In the same Mahabharata battle, Bhishmacharya was about 120 years of age, and the fierceness with which he was fighting the battle, the vitality that was throbbing through him throughout the battle, the Pandava army got shaken by Bhishmacharya, 120-year-old Bhishmacharya. How could they do all this? The scriptures teach us that through self-discipline, Atmana Vindate Viryam, Kenopanishad says, by self-control and self-discipline, leading a disciplined way of life, we can achieve, first of all, great health, great stamina, great fortitude, great spirit, and we can achieve miracles. That is the teaching of the scriptures for us. The famous scene of Dronacharya testing his students, giving each one a bow and an arrow and then pointing at a tree with a bird sitting on a branch of the tree and asking each student to aim at it and to tell him what he sees. All of us know this story, this episode from Mahabharata. Arjuna alone, every one of them said they see the tree, they see the bird, and then some people said they see the branch and the bird, some people said they see the bird, but Arjuna said he is just seeing the head of the bird, nothing else. Look at the power of his eyesight. Normally this episode is used to narrate the concentration and focus of Arjuna as an inspiration to youngsters, but now let us look at it from an eye care angle. What kind of an eyesight Arjuna must have had, that from a distance he is aiming at this tree, aiming at the branch, aiming at the bird, and his aim is so good and his eyesight is so good that he is just seeing the head of that bird alone. How is that sharp eyesight possible? Once again, Atmana Vindate Viryam. Scriptures tell us that lead a disciplined life, have self-control, have self-discipline, then you can be extremely agile, extremely sharp in your bodily complexes, physical complexes, and in your sense capabilities. Bhagavad Gita has a sloka. You may see in the slide in front of you at this point. This sloka basically is going to tell us what is self-discipline. This sloka appears in the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Na ati anatastu yogaha asti nacha ekantam anasnataha nacha ati swapna shilasya jagrato na evacha Arjuna. What does it say? It says, Krishna is telling Arjuna, Lord Krishna is telling Arjuna, Oh Arjuna, lead a life of moderation. Don't overeat, don't do too much of fasting, don't oversleep and don't undersleep either. Necessary amount of sleep is good, needed amount of sleep is necessary for the body. In other words, this sloka tells us that moderation is the discipline one needs in life. Now coming to the mind, is it just the body? No, I think a good health of a human being needs a healthy mind and a healthy body. And what do the scriptures say about the mind? Before that, all of you who are healthcare professionals, you tell your patients, when patients come to you with lot of problems in their body, you tell them, please don't worry too much, live a stress free life, don't get stressed too much, live a relaxed life. This is what you tell your patients. Why? The stress, perturbations, the distractions of the mind, restlessness of the mind, it has its effect. It has its effect on the body, health. That is what you know it and you tell us when we come as patients to you. There is a strong connection between the state of mind and the bodily health. Scriptures tell us the same thing. Scriptures tell us mana eva manushyanam karanam bandha mokshayoho. What does it mean? Mind is the reason for one to feel liberated or one to feel very tired and stressed. It is the mind. That is what the scriptures tell us. And Bhagavad Gita gives us a clue as to how to have a healthy mind, how to live stress free, and not just live stress free, how to handle the battles of life. If Arjuna had to handle the battle in the war field, we as normal human beings, we have to find the battles, we have to live the battles of life, we have to face the battles of life. Bhagavad Gita gives us a clue as to how to do it, how to develop a good mental attitude towards life and lead a healthy life. Yogastaha kuru karmani sangam tyaktva dhananjaya siddhya siddhyo samo bhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. Sukha dukkha samaya kritva labha labhav jaya jayav tato yuddhaya yujyasva. Bhagavad Gita in the second chapter, two different slokas, I put them together here. Lord Krishna says, do your duty, kuru karmani sangam tyaktva, but don't get attached, don't get too attached to the results. Don't look towards results, don't be restless about the results. You perform your duty to your best possible. Go for excellence in your performance of duty, don't bother about results. Then you will be stress free. Whether it gives the expected results or not, you treat them same, samo bhutva, treat them same. Whatever is the result, accept it, samatvam yogam uchyate. That equanimity of mind is a meditation by itself. That equanimity of mind we have to develop in ourselves. This is what Bhagavad Gita tells us. And further Krishna goes on to say, treat pleasure and pain same, treat gain and loss same, treat victory and defeat same. This way yuddhaya yujyasva, go ahead and fight the battles of life. Don't be afraid, don't be worried about any battles that you have to face in life, but develop equanimity of mind and go and face the life. This way, that equanimity of mind will give us a stress free life. That is important. That is where I am pointing out that scriptures give us a way to live a stress free life, a life where mind is at rest, at peace with itself. And a peaceful mind, a healthy mind will lead to a healthy body, and overall health will be shining. That is what is this great teaching from Bhagavad Gita. Another excellent lesson from Bhagavad Gita, something which inspired Swami Vivekananda. You know, Arjuna was depressed just at the start of the Mahabharata war. He he was wondering whether it is right on his part to fight this battle against his own relatives, his own elders, his own teachers, and even kill them in the war, in the process of the war, during the war. Is it right? Is it right to go for his kingdom at the cost of all these people? So that depressed him. There was a doubt, self-doubt inside him. The Gandiva, his famous bow, slipped down from his hand, and he sat down on the floor of the chariot. He was trembling. He said, "Oh Krishna, my tongue has gone dry, my tongue has gone dry." Then Krishna says, "Klaibyam asma gamapartha na etat tvai upapadyate shudram hridaya dhaurbalyam tyaktva uttishta parantapa." It's a very excellent motivational sloka. Krishna told Arjuna, "Oh Arjuna, what is this? You are a hero. How can you allow any doubts or fears to come anywhere near you? Drop all these petty thoughts. Get up and fight the war." Uttishta parantapa. Very rousing and very motivating sloka from Bhagavad Gita, from Krishna. It is to Arjuna in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, but it is to all of us to live fearlessly. Don't get cowed down by the challenges we feel in our life. When we get fear, when we get afraid of when we get a sense of fear and we get afraid, when we get cowed down by the challenges in front of us, it affects our health. It affects our health. On the other hand, being fearless, courageously facing the battle, courageously facing our own self-doubts, and having a strong belief, self-belief, that is the way to go. That is what this Bhagavad Gita sloka tells us. That will lead to being a very healthy person, and with a healthy mind, and successfully facing the battles of life. This sloka inspired Swami Vivekananda so much. I read from the books about him that with this sloka's inspiration, Swami Vivekananda gave us the famous quotation, "Arise, awake, stop not till you reach the goal." That is the way to live. Scriptures show us principles and ethics in life. They lift us. If we are an ethical person, if we lead a life filled with ethics, if we lead a life guided by principles and high ideal, that kind of a life can be a healthy life. Our mind will be healthy, our body will be healthy, and the life will be meaningful, and it will be at a higher plane than the routine, mundane, material plane. This is what Ramayana teaches us. Rama, when he was told the previous day evening that he will be coronated as the Yuvaraja next day, and then next morning when he was told no, Bharata will be coronated and Rama will have to go on an exile for 14 years to the forest, there was no change in Rama. Absolute equanimity. We just now talked about equanimity a few minutes ago. That equanimity Ramayana shows us. In Rama there was no change. When Kaikeyi asked him whether he would do it, whether he would obey his father's commands in this way, he said, "Kevalam dharmam astitam." I am here. Na aham arthaparo devi viddimam rishibhistulyam kevalam dharmam astitam. Taye, I am not here for the luxuries of life. I am like a saint, and I am here only for the high principle of dharma. Dharma is righteousness, ethics based life. I am here only for that principle. So Rama was least perturbed. In Chitrakuta, when Rama was there in exile in the forest in Chitrakuta, Bharata comes all the way there. Rama's younger brother Bharata, you may remember, along with his entire retinue of army and the great saints including Vasishtha and the three mothers and brother Shatrughna, all of them, Bharata led them, and Bharata brought them to Chitrakuta. Bharata fell at Rama's feet and said, "A mistake has been done. Now you come back. The kingdom which was given to me, I am giving it back to you because you are the rightful king of the country, and you are the one who can really lead the country. Come back and take it. Since I am asking you, you will not be doing any adharma, you will not be wrong if you take back the kingdom. But Rama said, no, Bharata, there is a principle above all of us, above all of us. Satyam yeva Ishvaro loke. He said, truth, truth is the highest principle of the world, and our Father's word has to come true, and it is my duty and your duty to live as per our Father's command, and whatever promise he made to Kaikeyi, that is Dasaratha, King Dasaratha, whatever promise he made to Kaikeyi has to come true, and it is our duty to fulfill it. So you are pleading with me and everybody around advising me and requesting me, all these are nice, but there is a higher principle above all these, and my life is guided by that principle, and for you too, that principle should guide your life. And Rama refused to take back the kingdom, and he continued living in the forest for 14 years. All of us know Ramayana. So Ramayana tells us that one should lead a life of ethics based life, and one should be guided by higher ideals, higher principles in life. That gives us an enormous inner strength, an inner courage, fortitude, a healthy mind and a healthy body. So being ethical and leading a principled life is one of the important teachings of the scriptures, and what we learn from scriptures like Ramayana, Mahabharata, various Upanishads. Finally, I just want to summarize the lessons from the scriptures for a very healthy life. A disciplined way of life, full of moderation in everything that we do, keeping the mind very healthy and keeping the mind under control, being very duty conscious and not very result conscious, and not to be stressed and become restless, focusing on the results and having expectations and having gaps in between expectations and results, avoiding all this and focusing on performance of duty with excellence. Yogaha karmasu kaushalam. This is what Bhagavad Gita tells. Whatever you do, do it excellently. Show your excellence in performance. Don't bother about results. Why? That way your health will be in good hands. And Bhagavad Gita also tells us, don't give in to fear. Don't allow fear to come anywhere near you. Don't allow self-doubts to come anywhere near you. And finally, live a life based on ethics and principles. This way, we will lead a healthy life with a healthy mind and a healthy body, as per the wisdom, nuggets of wisdom given to us by our scriptures, ancient scriptures, which have been around us for centuries and centuries with us. At this point, I want to thank Sankara Eye Foundation for giving me this opportunity to address all of you on this great day of World Sight Day 2020, and I also want to thank all of you in the audience who have been very patiently listening to what I have to share with you about those nuggets that I could pick from the Shastras during my own lifetime, and which I am very happy to be sharing with you all. Namaste.